Hey everyone, welcome in. It's the championship half, so we've been dying to get here. The playoffs are finally winding down. It's time to crown the tour champion. From Vegas, still alive after day 15. Andy is going for the world's record, longest Vegas trip of anyone's lifetime. Holding up okay. What's going on, buddy?
Yeah, it is my residency here in Las Vegas. Was a little worried about DFS. It's not allowed in Nevada. I wish I would have not played DFS last week. I didn't do as hot as I'd done the previous weeks, but we'll be back. I do have a I don't know if I'm breaking terms and conditions here, so don't arrest me if I'm doing something wrong, DraftKings. But I do have a remote, like remember Go to My PC way back in the day? It's like that, but obviously better into my computer at home, my desktop at work. So I set that sumbitch up to like never go to sleep, never turn off when I left. So that thing, and I've logged in several times to do things that I can't do here. And I should be able to just log into some DFS contests in Minnesota still. So I am going to play. I love DFS this week. This is fun because it's a very big challenge with such a short field. You have to get really unique, and I think you have to get really wild with the how much money you're spending. As in, I'm going to put together some $46,000 lineups, and that's just how life's going to go. I might just go 100% one of the big two guys. I don't know. I haven't decided.
Are there two big guys?
I'm kind of what?
It's just one big guy.
There is really one big guy, and if you look at the odds, it looks that way. But I may bet Rory at this price. And I know, Scotty's a magician, a wizard of God, and everything. And my God, to hit that chip online like that is one thing, but to hit it with just the perfect pace, like. If the hole wasn't there, how much further would have it rolled? Like 2 inches?
It was dying.
Yeah. I mean, it would have died like 2 inches past the hole if it weren't there. Like to hit it with that line and that pace I'll never hit one shot like that in my life, ever. I'll never have a shot that good. Not even close. I mean, obviously, no shit, Andy. That was like probably the shot of the year, but it's crazy. Like I'd love to just shoot 95 every week, but have one shot like that one time in my life, and I won't. I'll keep trying though.
I mean, perfect timing for like Ricky to get on like the chair next to the interviewer, and they're like, they want to talk to you about, hey, your season ended. You're on the outside looking in. Talk to us about Scotty's chip. Did you just see that? Like, oh, we get Ricky's commentary on the chip, but even Ricky said it's funny. Like you can leave that chip. So easy to hit that chip 15 feet short, 25 feet short, or blast it through and it carries into the water. So yeah, remarkable stuff from Scheffler. But yeah, to your point, we have a pretty solid history with Roars here at East Lake. He seems to
that is the thing. Like he's the only guy to ever win this, coming from like a decent amount back when they did the starting strokes. He's just really set up to fit here, so you're getting a discount out of him all of a sudden because Scotty's playing so well.
Another guy who's fantastic course history is not here, which is fascinating to me that we have Jacob Bridgman here. We have Sanjay, who was abysmal for 85% of his starts this season. He's here, and we do not have Xander Schauffele here, which is kind of fascinating to me. Didn't play that poorly, had like 3 top 12s in majors. Again, just the loss of points early in the season. The Sanjay thing is just playing every week and making cuts even though he's never ever contending, and just a bunch of like T50s and stuff on there. But hey, points are points, and he had enough. So yeah, very interesting to see how this week goes. I'm challenged to think. I want to see what your thoughts are here. Look, just making it here for a lot of guys is a huge piece, right? I mean, like the things that come with making it here, the 2 years of your tour card, you get in all the majors. for the back end of the guys, to your point, we only really have Rory as an outlier in terms of the starting strokes and guys that were able to come back. So really, like actually winning the event since the staggered stroke starts was really not on the table for a lot of the fields. It's a totally different beast now, right? No staggered shots. Scotty is straight up with Akshay and Bridgman and all those guys that are in the field. How do you think it changes in terms of like how aggressive and like the way that these guys are approaching the week? Because I think it might, when you add on the fact that we only have the second year of this like post renovation in terms of historical East Lake play. I think it's a little bit complicated in terms of how to handicap, because I think you just have some like DGAF mentality down the board for these guys. Like, hey, I'm already here. That's a win, right? Why don't I just go play uber aggressive pin hunt? I got a guaranteed check. It's 4 days. There's no cut. I'm 30th in points anyway. I'm barely here. So why don't I take like a super aggressive approach? I wonder if that impacts maybe DFS more so than even like betting.
Yeah, I almost went the other direction with that. And I don't know where the headspace is going to be on these, because there is the, maybe I can't win this thing, but there's still a pretty sizable difference between like 15th and 30th.
Sure.
For how much money you make. And some of these guys who are like, let's see, your Bridgman or somebody like that, or somebody who hasn't made their big nut yet on the tour, like just playing really well, not having some blow up round and getting yourself in the top 15, maybe even the top 10. It's so much money. Like, there's just so much money to be made here. And, you have to play aggressively to get there, I guess. But, I wouldn't want to get overly wild and mess it all up. Maybe somebody's mindset is that I have the fallback of 30th place still gets a lot of money. I should go for it. It reminds me of when I was playing craps the other day, actually. Should we just, everything should have the Vegas theme? I mean, like, I was up a bunch. I wanted to get Steak and Shake, which they don't have here, so I had to go to a different casino. And I got my burger, and then I was full, so I saw one of those craps table where you can sit down, but then just play on the computer. And I was up a bunch, so I'm like, all right, this next roll, I'm gonna get real aggressive and like either leave even or be up a bunch. It ended up being in the middle, but I think that's a really hard question to answer, because I think there's probably two schools of thoughts, and we don't know who's going which way. Because there might be some guys saying like, I can win this. It's any given Sunday. I've played enough golf. I'm good enough. I'm obviously a top 30 guy. I could beat Scotty this week. Like, just, you don't know that Scotty's going to have a great week. He has off weeks, and his off week is going to be him getting fifth here, obviously. He's not going to go finish 23rd or something. But if Scotty has an off week and you have your best week, you can beat him if you're, a competitor. And there might be some guys that really go for it. So it's going to be tough to gauge.
Tough to gauge for sure. Maybe it's more showdown. I don't know. Just thinking through the week, it's like, all right, well, we have this pretty sizable renovation heading into last year's event. So we have 1 year of data post Andrew Green renovation. The course played a little bit easier. What do we make of that? Is that going to be sticky? It's really hard. We're talking about 4 rounds 12 months ago. Really noisy sample. You also had the
2022 was the easiest. 2022 that it played about 2 strokes below par across the field, which is, when you take that, you look at an average tour event, it's very hard to compare it apples to apples, because those average tour events have sponsors exemptions and Monday qualifiers and just, some randos in there too. Not randos, but like guys who aren't top 20 players in the world. So, it's going to look on paper like this is always playing so easy, because it's the best in the world that are playing here. But it still did play pretty easy. And even with the green renovation, it's not a tough course. There's some ways to get in trouble, but if you're long and straight, you're going to be just fine. I don't know you were frozen. I thought you were just staring really deep into my soul there, Noonan. So I can keep talking while Ryan finds his way back. If you missed any of the original show yesterday, the first look, Obviously, the biggest part is we're not doing the starting strokes. Everybody starts just at even par, which is a massive difference from the years before. As Ryan mentioned, they did a renovation in 2023. They used it's funny, they used old aerial photos from like the 40s to try to make it how it was in the past, the old Donald Ross design before we did the Reese Jones renovations throughout the 90s and into the 2000s. The fairways were switched to a different grass. We have Zoro Zoysia, faster. It's going to be faster when it's dry out. You have the greens were converted to the Bermuda, the Tiff Eagle Bermuda, larger and bigger, and ended up being bigger so you can expand some of the pin locations. Hole 14 was a 580-yard par 5 that was very, very scoreable. They switched that to a 530-yard par 4, and they did some changes late in 17, fairway reduction, some short grass expansion too, which is to say there's some areas around the green that aren't going to be, rough. It's going to be that short grass collection type areas that you're going to have to chip out of, it's interesting when places have both, where there's going to be chips from the rough and chips from the short grass, which I love because those are kind of two different skill sets. And I think more courses should be, not one or the other, where, it's a lot of rough around the greens, or it's no rough. There's no collar. It's just you're sliding 40 feet away, 40 yards away sometimes into this collection area. I like having a little bit of both. Parkland, narrow fairways. There's water. 8 holes are going to have water hazards. And yeah, it's kind of just a second shot course, guys. I did make a model on the rabbit hole. I had one from last year. I always look back and wonder what I was thinking, but I made one just called East Lake Driving Accuracy, which was off the tee for just everything for 18 months. Driving accuracy, total driving, good drive percentage, and distance from the edge of the fairway. So it looks like I really wanted to zone in on who was driving the ball very accurately. If I pull that model forward, your number one golfer in that model is one Colin Morikawa, who I have railed against to be on. I want him off my Ryder Cup team. I don't think he should be. I think he actually plays well here, though. This is a good setup for him, and he probably ends up on it. I think most people have him on anyway. I don't know how Keegan feels. He's off at Bethpage handing out free tickets, which is awesome. So who knows what ends up with Colin, but I do think he plays well here. I did make a new model. Went heavy on greens and regulation. Not only is predictive here, but it's predictive everywhere. It's super predictive of success at this place. So I just went last 12 months, all rounds. Last 9 months, actually. And then I cut it off at the beginning of the year. So 2025 results only for these stats. I went greens and regulation heavy. I went total driving fairly heavy, not as, but total driving, again, is the combination of accuracy and distance. I went a little bit of putting. 10% of my model is Bermuda putting, just to kind of see where people are with that. Scotty, actually, over the last 2 years, and I know it's a 2-year sample for this, and he has been obviously much better with the putter of late. But on Bermuda grass, over a 2-year sample, which is about a 40, 50 round sample for a lot of guys, he is 27th in the field in putting on Bermuda. I also put in birdies or better rate and par 4 average. Scotty is number 1 ranked out of the 30 in those 4 that are not Bermuda putting, 27th in the field in Bermuda putting. So he's still number 1 in my model. Ludwig, number 2. Somebody I think we've kind of started to get behind a little. Patrick Cantlay, crazy enough, number 3. Mr. Consistent, but never gets it done. Got her up here, obviously using some of those ball striking numbers. He's pretty high as well. Morikawa's still 5th, though, so some interesting names at the top of my model. I haven't thought a ton about DFS yet. Ooh. Uh-oh. I might toss it back to Ryan here because I need a drink of water after that.
Wish I could make this up. My wife
Absolute monologue.
My wife is dusting the
Router?
router box.
Are you blaming the Swiffer for why you left me?
Yes. I thought it was you. I'm like, oh, your internet was doing so well for most of it. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, no,
No,
that was me.
honestly, so I have shit talked the Golden Nugget because I'm not impressed with a lot of things. I'm moving over to Circa tomorrow. But I used to love it here. I've shit talked them a lot. Their Wi-Fi for just in the room, 100 meg upload, 100 meg download, which is nuts. Used to come out here and the Wi-Fi was just so garbage. So I guess hat tip, I should change my Yelp review to talk about that.
Did you sum up the whole tournament while I was gone?
Yeah, I kind of went through everything. I talked about my bets.
Okay.
No, I looked at, so I was telling him I found a model I built from last year that was like 5 different ways to look at driving accuracy. I was really zoned in on that. And then this year's model, I did save it as an expert model. It was greens and reg, total driving, birdie or better, par 4 average, and then a little bit of Bermuda putting. And Scotty was 1, 1, 1, 1, and 27. His Bermuda putting was a little weak. That was a 2-year sample size, which isn't fair to him because he's gotten even better at putting this year. So congrats to him, I guess, on winning this, most likely. I talked to Noonan off air a little. He's not high in my model, but he's always played so well here, and you're kind of getting a discount on a guy that's right there, a clear number 2 in my mind in Dirty Roars. So I might go against my better judgment and just bet on take Rory and the 2 long shots. And I don't want to get too heavy on the card here.
Yeah, same. I'm obviously doing without Scotty markets again. That was almost good last week. It was almost really good 2 weeks ago. Ludwig kind of folded a little bit on Sunday, like everyone else seemed to, other than Scotty and other than back 9 Ben Griffin, I guess. But yeah, it's he's plus 150. Like I don't know what to do with that. Obviously can lose this golf tournament to any of these guys. I mean, this is obviously a solid field, even though we don't have Xander, surprisingly, but obviously anyone can go out and win this, and everyone's motivated to do so. To your point, prize pool is pretty wild. But yeah, I went through a little bit yesterday on the Key Stats show, and just try to look at what's different than previous iterations. Post Reno, I think we saw driving accuracy and really, off the tee really matters still, but maybe a little bit less. Part of it is just it's a long par 70 again. We've had a few of these as of late. So getting a little sample of guys that have played well on some of these long par 70 tracks, I think matters a ton. That obviously puts a little bit more, bearing on the par 4 scoring, which is what you have here in the model too, capturing the importance of that since you only have the 2 par 5s. They're reachable for everybody. The green complex, they seemed a little more difficult, more firm, more fast, more shaved runoffs. But when I looked at the actual, you go through the key stats here, look at how the increase of short grass runoffs played compared to years past. Scrambling the short grass was way up 73%, significantly above previous years here and significantly above tour average. So the intent of trying to make it play a little harder around the green with the shaved runoffs didn't really play itself out that way. But you did see mostly down the board from a strokes gain standpoint, like a lot of guys that played well outside of Scotty, who's obviously fantastic around the green. They did play well around the green here. So again, you're going to miss some fairways. The Bermuda's longer grab.
Is she dusting the same router again? Poor Noonan. Poor Noonan just went to shit
old
on
school.
me again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you're back. Oh, you didn't leave me that time. Oh, you froze again. I guess I could just pick up where you left off there. But truthfully and honestly, maybe the entire handicap is.
That's Eastlake.
Yeah, it's Eastlake.
That's all I got.
What if we, what if we just crossed our legs? and said, "Hey, let's play in the not Scotty market."
That's it. Without Scotty.
That's it. It was just when he plays like this, it's so hard to beat him. And I feel like
I don't want any.
And I messed it up twice. Like
markets. I'm not that brave.
It's funny that none of the guys that I bet really had a chance. But in Memphis, I played the without Scotty market, and he wasn't. He didn't win. And then last week I played just straight up. I played a few guys, and he did. It didn't matter. I would have been really angsty if my guys actually played really well. I think my best golfer last week was got her up maybe, or whoever somebody got like 11th for me out of my outrights. It wasn't really good, but I've been wrong on this before. So whatever I do, you should probably just do the opposite. If I play in the not Scotty market, he ain't winning. So, like I said, I looked at outright prices, and you kind of got to recalibrate your brain when you're looking at outright prices on a smaller field like this, because it's like, oh man, that's not a good price on that guy. Nah, I mean, he doesn't have to beat as many golfers, so you have to reconsider how your pricing is going to work, because basically, just kind of gambling 101, guys. When you're betting into a market, it's not a betting odds. You're betting a percentage. That is a percentage chance that they're going to win. And it's funny, if you convert all those, it comes out to like 140%, because the books hate you and they want to take your money. But if you devig that and look at what percentage you have for Scotty Scheffler and feel like, is he actually going to win this tournament 40% of the time? Probably. It's probably correct. But then start looking at some of these other guys, and that I think that's a good exercise, is start looking at some of the guys you like and figuring out what percentage you think they are to make the win. And that's how you should be probably picking your outrights at this point. Try to find some value against your number. And Rory McIlroy's plus 878. We're talking, 1 divided by 9 at that point. Where we got 1 divided by 9.78. That's a 10%. He wins 10% of the time. Probably can get behind Rory McIlroy playing good enough to beat Scotty more than 10% of the time. So I am going to play Rory at Bookmaker, 878. I don't know if there's a better price out there than that. I think a lot of places have just 8.5. And then, look down the board and find some guys that have some outlier skill sets that could play really well. I think Goddard is another one that maybe he probably translates well to this place again. He's like 75-1. I'm probably crossing off Keegan. He seems focused on other stuff. Harry Hall's one. Harry Hall's another guy I'll probably look at again. So Harry Hall and Goddard, maybe those are my 2 long shots. I don't know if there's anyone else towards the bottom. Like, I can't play Bridgman, Novak, Sung Jae, Nick Taylor, Harmon. I can't take Harmon seriously on this, just the length of this track. Akshay I looked at. I don't think his price. I think his price is a little short though. I love Justin Rose. Maybe not here. McIntyre's under 40. He's got to be in his head a little after last week. I don't know if I want to play that guy.
Did you see his post-round interview?
Yeah.
Devastated.
Yeah. Well, you have it. You have the tournament. It's in your hands. It's on your club, and he knows. That's going to be good for him in the long run. I think it's bad for the U.S. Ryder Cup team. He's going to scorched earth up in Bethpage. Yeah,
I mean, there's the opposite. I found him to be on Sunday, especially just super thin skin. Just seemed like.
Well, but I think he's going 3. Even if he loses his singles, he's going 3-1.
Well, he and Rosie were teammates a couple times there.
I like that matchup. We're gonna. I told myself, and I didn't say anything to you. We're gonna try to not talk about the Ryder Cup today.
It's impossible
because I think we do a Ryder Cup episode next week.
Okay.
Like that's a fun one. It's a fun one to do next week for sure. Because we've all been very much speculating I think we can do some hard speculating. Can't play, can't lay. Cam Young, I looked at. I did. I don't know if I want to do that here, though. So it might be Goddard and Hall as my long shots. Rory, Harry Hall, Chris Goddard. That's the whole card.
Two guys that modeled well for me. Let me pull up my East Lake model. Hopefully the internet's fully back up and agreeable right now. That I'm going at here in the without Scotty market. I'm going Ben Griffin, 25-1 without Scotty. And I'm going Mav McNeely, 28-1 without Scotty. A couple guys played well last week. A couple guys have a lot to play for. Plus distance, super strong putters. You're still going to need to score and make your hay on the par fours here. Short game stuff is really good. You can see, both what are these scrambling short grass, putting on Bermuda. Griffin 6-2, Mav 4-4. Basically, it's them and Russ that are kind of these guys that are really strong in the short game piece. Like some of the ball striking numbers from Mav as of late, and Ben Griffin's just been playing awesome. I mean, I feel like he's like 7th on the team at this point. Like Ben Griffin discourse on yes or no Ryder Cup is like over, that he's been so good for basically the majority of the year. So yeah, I'll take those two guys in the without. I've seen some people putting cards out with exactas, which makes sense. It's like I
like that.
The deviated approach. It's from the without Scotty market. It's just like Scotty and whether it's any order or the exacta.
Well, so if it's any order, it's a quinella.
Okay.
If it is if it's in order, it's an exacta, and you can also call a quinella an exacta box.
Exacta box.
Yeah,
right?
If we want to keep the horse racing people happy.
Yeah, so you can box your exacta here on Scotty and some of these other guys, or just go, straight up exacta. But that's what I'm doing. I like Mav and BG. I think they're both playing really good golf, and they I think are solid course fits. So consider Henley. Price is pretty short. You could also see this is like a Tommy win. Would not surprise me at all. Right? It's just like a weird tour championship one-off type of. I'm not doing it. It's too short. He's part of the without markets at some books, which is just crazy. He's playing grid golf. Like he's very much in the mix, but I can't get there. It's too short for me. So those are the two. Short card for me. We'll save it for other big events coming up here on the calendar, sports wise.
Yeah, there's some football coming up. I'm gonna miss you guys a little when I don't. I said we'll do a Ryder Cup episode next week, but there are gonna be some weeks we don't do episodes because there's just not golf. Obviously, we're going to cover every single, every single fall event for sure. But there still will be some weeks where we don't end up having anything, which stinks. I think the fall event should be more. I'd love to see just absolutely fill up the calendar, but
it pretty much is. It's just like December.
Yeah, it's just December, really. They take like, the Ryder Cup goofs things up a little too. Not that I'm complaining about having a Ryder Cup to watch, but it does push things around a little. But yeah, it's basically like 3 out of every 4 weeks we play golf until December, and then it's like Grant Thornton and bullshit I don't want to watch. So back to horses though. I may play a daily double where Scotty in the first race, and then Angel Cabrera in the second race there. The Champions Tour event, the Ally Challenge, which is, of course, played in beautiful Grand Blanc, Michigan at the Warwick Hills Golf and Country Club. Stuart Sink, your defending champion up there. I'm not going to bet on Darren Clark. Oof. Actually, still a pretty good golfer. It just looks, he just always looks like he's in rough shape. He's 25-1. Tommy Gainey, 25-1. And Cam Percy, I forgot how old Cam Percy is. Bo Van Pelt, Stephen Ames. Somebody brought him up the other day. Stephen Ames of match play fame. Infamy, actually, we'll go with. So, yeah, if you guys have anything else, I don't have a lot on DFS this week. I'm going to. I think you have to take a stand, though. I think you either have to ride with Scotty and then get really weird at the bottom, or you have to just go a full fade, where you go half the ownership, maybe less, and say, I'm going to play against him. I think that's probably unwise.
Sounds
stupid. But if he plays poorly and he's like 10th, you're gonna take all the chips. Like, you're gonna rake the middle of the table.
Still gonna be right though. You got the one part right. You're still gonna be right with the rest of your guys.
You still have to be right, and it just feels like it's a really risky one. So I'm probably just going to be on par with the field with Scotty, and then decide how to treat Rory and some of the other top guys I like. I might go high ownership on Rory and slightly lower on Scotty. We'll see how it goes. It's a tough one to play. It's a very fun one if you've never maxed an event. It's a very fun one to do that. Take $75, go find the 50-cent max, mini max. You can play 150 lineups. If you've never done 150 lineups, it's a very fun one because it's a small event, and you can get really squirrely with some of them. So check out our, we have an optimizer on site. I think it works pretty well. There's a lot of buttons you can play with on there. So I very much need to talk to my consigliere Link Calhoun on DFS this week, because it's a unique tournament.
Yeah, you can use the optimizer here on the site. You build out settings, lock in players. If you want to look at cumulative ownerships, and there's lots of different ways for you to go ahead and manipulate your player pool. Group players together if you want to have clusters depending on tee times or however you want to do it. You can go ahead and lock in this versus hand building 150, which I would not suggest. So yeah, definitely check this out for Betsperts Golf subscribers. It is under the tool section, DFS optimizer. It's there for you. One of the many suite of tools we do. Spend a lot of time just letting you know about the rabbit hole, and the rabbit hole is amazing. There's a matchup tool, optimizer, all the different stuff that we have here is pretty much covering anything you possibly would want to do. So apologize for my internet today. I'll go ahead and properly reprimand my wife, obviously after the show. A lot of this, she felt bad.
Shake your finger at her a little.
Now you decide to clean.
All right, boys. You sound terrible. Terrible, Ryan. With that, we'll leave you for the week. If you watched on YouTube, please hit the thumbs up. We've enjoyed having you all here. If you listen in podcast form, a rate, review, subscribe, all that would be great. If you want to check out the rabbit hole, DM me. I'll give you a promo code. I ain't going to let you pay full price. Never. That money doesn't go right in my pocket, so I don't give a shit. Let's get you a promo code. DM my ass. My DMs are kind of open. I think something will pop up. Or Noonan. Bug him too. We'll get you a promo code. Check it out. It's not the greatest week to go signing up for the first time, I guess. But even if you want a weekly just to try it out, like I said, it's not like we're not putting the fall events in here. I'm going to use the rabbit hole to model and bet every single fall event. We will not almost certainly, we'll 100% will put in the Ryder Cup 24, and you will be able to just play with the Ryder Cup teams if you want. Like, for sure, that's a lot of fun. It's a harder event to bet, but we'll put them in as a field of just 24 for you to play with as well.
Yeah. So next Wednesday. So yeah, we're 8 days away from the U.S. Selection, captain selections, and then we have a week from there is when we get the Euro side. So we'll have the U.S. team first, and then the Euros come a week after. So we're close. Coming up.
We'll see you guys next week.